Apparently, women find 80% of men below average and unattractive.
Every single time I open this app, I am violently humbled by the people who are trying to match with me.
Women on average view 80% of men as below average in attractiveness.
The difference is, men have to face the world as is. Women have to create an identity.
Stop dating cheap guys. Is he showing you the cheapest menu options saying that's the most delicious?
Did you know that women find 80% of men as unattractive?
Sure, I'd love to explain. In general, women don't really see men as like a fixed number on a scale. We pretty quickly divide you into...
Then again, there's nothing wrong with being average. They think they're above the scale. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Okay, I need to talk about Hinge for a second because I need to know if anyone else relates to this, but like every single time I open this app, I am violently humbled by the people who are trying to match with me. And listen, I don't think I'm the prettiest girl in the world. Like, I think I'm like kind of cute sometimes, but like, I look at these people who are trying to match with me and I'm like, are these really the people that are interested in me and think they have a chance with me? Like, come on, there has to be better than this. I know I could do better than that. Like, where is everyone finding the cute guys that they start dating from Hinge? I don't understand. Help.
No, I feel the exact same. The people that like me are just simply like, no, and I'm sure they'd be great for someone, but not for me at all. The cute guys are married and in relationships. The universe left us with goblets best to try the supermarkets and libraries. Apparently, Hinge shows you people they deem the same attractiveness level as you. Yeah, I'm starting to think I'm not as pretty as I thought. Ma'am, if you're not finding cute guys to date, it simply means you're not pretty enough for them to swipe right on you. This is just a typical case of average women thinking that they're not average. This is only happening because their ego have been boosted to the point where they believe they're so beautiful and above others. Maybe try taking off the bull ring, might have a better shot.
If your man complains that you're expensive, just tell him that there are other girls out there in different price ranges and remind him that you always get what you pay for.
Are you for sale?
In terms of attraction, men rate women in a uniform way that's somewhat normally distributed, as shown in the pink chart. It is pretty evenly split between least attractive and most attractive. Meanwhile, women think that 80% of men are below average.
Sure, I'd love to explain. In general, women don't really see men as like a fixed number on a scale. We pretty quickly divide you into 3 different looks categories. On one end of the spectrum is male model. I know all my friends are going to think he's hot. This is rare to see in real life. It's usually celebrities. Then there's absolutely not, which is different for all women. My friend would never date a skinny guy under any circumstances, but I really like skinny guys. But the vast majority of men fall into the other category, which ranges from meh to kind of cute. And as we get to know you, there are tons of factors that literally change your physical appearance to us. Everything from the way your voice sounds to how you smell to how funny you are. And that can nosedive you down into absolutely not, or bring you up to I want him status, which is so much hotter than even the male model category.
That's pretty amazing. So for a man to qualify to date certain women, they have to be able to check off everything on that list, while women just throw on some makeup and perfume and call it a day. Basically, a guy who's 5'9" is the absolutely not category, and then you have to work to get to the may category. But this varies for different types of women. Some women would prefer average men because they would treat them better compared to a guy who's a model. And some women would choose the medium ugly guy so they can feel special, just like this woman.
On today's episode of Why Hot Girls Pick the Medium Guys. We choose them for many reasons, but here are the reasons. They treat us like queens. They're not broke, not cheap. There's a difference. They are number one fans, main supporters. We don't have to fight for attention because the attention's always on us. We don't want our boyfriends to take it away from us. They're always nice. They're always cute. Like, hot guys are just for stories, not for dating. Stories. it's too much work to date a really hot guy. Like, not only are people looking at him and they're looking at you, but they're looking what to do with you guys. I can't. You're not only competing with girls looking at him or trying to get with him, you're competing with guys. As if I need that in my life. No, thank you. And did I say broke? He'll be at the bar waiting for you to get him a drink. Like, and to put lip gloss on him. No.
These women date medium-looking guys because they get put on a pedestal and aren't challenged when they're being disrespectful. They enjoy being the center of attention, and these men make that easy for them. With more attractive guys, they can't compete for attention or control, so they stick with partners who let them feel important without much effort. They know these men will give them what they want: admiration, attention, and an easy path to dominance in the relationship.
Most men find most women to be at least somewhat attractive. In contrast, women on average view 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Another study found that on the dating app Tinder, men liked more than 60% of the female profiles they viewed, while women liked only 4.5% of male profiles. I didn't realize that 80% of men as below average. That's quite off.
It is, because, you would think like 50%, right? It's sort of like 50% above and 50% below, but to have 80% rated below is pretty grim.
Because of the increased risk women carry, they tend to be choosier about their partners. In contrast, men are less discerning. Studies of online dating, for example, find that...
Yeah, but they're basing this off of an app that's designed for hookup culture. Women tend to aim way above their league on dating apps. Guys who realistically never talk to them in real life is the quality of guy they would go for. Since more than 20% of men have relationships, this suggests that women are less interested in physical attractiveness than other attributes. Maybe we need to start wearing makeup too. Realistically, 90% of women who chase the top 20% of guys won't ever end up with them. It's almost absurd that they don't realize they're all competing for the same few men, yet they still complain about not finding someone to date. What's even more ironic is that when average guys show interest in them, they get upset, not recognizing that they're average themselves. Instead of appreciating the attention they receive, they dismiss it because they've bought into the fantasy that they deserve someone in the top tier. This disconnect between reality and their expectations leads to frustration, both for them and the men who actually do show interest. The cycle just keeps going: unrealistic standards, disappointment, and a constant search for something that isn't likely to happen.
Stop dating cheap guys. Is he showing you the cheapest menu option saying that's the most delicious? Is he counting how many drinks you have? Is he not willing to send you an Uber when you're coming over to his place? Let me clarify, there's nothing wrong in dating a guy that is on the path to financial freedom. But there's everything wrong in dating a guy who's just cheap, stingy, gross.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Why do men's dating profile pictures always look like this? And then you have to guess which one it is, and you don't know until you scroll, and then you're disappointed. They truly do not care what we think, but they want us to swipe on them. Where's the effort? For real, where's the effort? We all look so pretty, we're posing, we're making our profiles interesting, and then we get this.
Women Listen care about to this. Status. Most men are invisible to women. Most women are not invisible to men. And you know that. Women are extremely picky, which is why you have guys on these dating apps that can't get anywhere. They're not getting any swipes. They're getting aggravated. This is the culture of the modern world, right? Dating apps. Well, guys are on there and they're not getting anywhere. And you've got women who are a 6, 5, a 4, maybe a 4, trying to amp themselves up to look like a 6 with all the makeup and the hair extensions and all that stuff. And they're getting swipes like crazy. So women have a really hard time understanding the lack of attention that most men get. They have a really hard time empathizing with the reality that guys, many guys in the modern world, they're sexless, they're not having sex, they're not getting dates, they're not getting attention. When women at their very same level walk down the street, put on a short dress, do whatever, and they get a ton of attention. It's not the same.
Everything's gone in the wrong direction these past 10, 15 years. I just take care of myself. I was contacted by a woman on a dating app, and within 24 hours she asked me for $150. I avoid posting what I make on dating apps, and most women are attracted to the same men. It's that same group of men that they base their perspective on men on, and that men have to open themselves up to ridicule and embarrassment to even approach a woman. A feeling a woman never has to feel.
It's one thing a guy can do that will instantly make him like more attractive.
More attractive?
More attractive.
Don't show interest in me.
What?
Don't show interest.
Don't show interest.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a toxic guy.
You need help. 80% of men are deemed unattractive by women online, on Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, seeking arrangements, whatever the on dating
top
things.
10% of men on Tinder are getting 63% of the right swipes, and I believe the top 20% were getting it's like something like a 78 or 80% of the right swipes. The top 20% were getting 80% of the right swipes on Tinder.
The mistake is that this is that we call this the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule, right? So the mistake is to think this is that 20% of guys are fucking 80% of the women. No, that's not it, dumbass. 100% of women want to get with the top 20% of guys. That leaves 80% of guys who are the invisible ones, who are the sandwich artists, who that they women are completely oblivious to because they are unattracted. They are not, maybe he'll do. They are, I wouldn't even recognize his existence, right?
Yeah.
And the best solution to this is just for men to simply delete dating apps and live in the real world. It's an illusion that's being sold to them that they will get their dream girl if they keep paying and swiping each month. Real interactions happens in the real world. The only ones who are winning in dating apps are the guys who are winning at life itself, the guys who are at the top 10 to 20%. These good guys simply don't stand a chance just because they're average. And you gotta think about it. For these women, the more attention you give them, the more they want.
They may have rejected you because they know you're out of their league. And what I mean by that is this. If you're really successful or smart or ambitious or beautiful or kind or just the full package, that may have made them feel insecure because they know they can't live up to that, or they're not going to be able to provide for you the things that you want, or they just have self-limiting beliefs. And whatever the case is, it doesn't really matter because the point is they did you a favor. You don't want people who you have to dim your light around. You want people in your life who want you to shine even brighter. And if that's not them, it's going to be someone better.
People move so weird when they know they don't deserve you to begin with. The thing is with men as well, they really love an actual chase. They really love to feel like they've earned something. And the reality is, if you're way out of a man's league and you're just kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt and just sticking around and seeing what happens, he knows that you don't actually respect him because he didn't put in enough work to get you in the first place. And his own demons be eating him up in the mind because he knows that he did not work to get you. He knows that you deserve way better, and he's gonna find absolutely any way to fumble that entire situation.
Some women just can't accept that a man rejected them, so they try to make themselves feel better by saying things like, he was just insecure, or he was out of my league. But the truth is, men have preferences too. Not every guy is going to accept whatever comes his way. If a man decides he doesn't want to deal with you anymore, it's probably because you don't match up to his standards. Just like women have the right to be selective, so do men. It's not about one being better than the other. It's about compatibility and finding someone who meets your own standards and expectations.
I joined online dating again last night, and every time I do this, I'm quickly reminded why I hate it. Online dating, it's not good. It's not. I don't recommend it. Why would you make this the opening line of your profile? I don't get it. Do people still meet each other out in the wild? And if they do, where do you find them? Because I can't do this.
So have we noticed that when men go for younger women, it's disgusting, it's creepy, it's how could he's taking advantage of her. That's the feedback that women give. But if a woman goes for a younger man, cougar, goals. Wow, good for her. She deserves it. Yeah, like, that's great. Why? This isn't equal rights. This is not equal rights. This is what I'm trying to say. This is not equal rights. And it bothers me so much because men can go for younger women if they want. Leave them alone. Also, they go for younger women. I'll give you a few reasons. Because younger women are less tainted. They have more of a fresher point of view on the world. So it's not just because they're younger. It's because they're also more just happy. They're less, they have less baggage. They have less hate towards men. They have less experience. They have less body count. They're more optimistic. Like, there's a lot of reasons. It's not just because they're younger.
It's a classic double standard. These women often bash men for dating younger women, calling them shallow or predatory, while ignoring their own actions when they do the same thing. They criticize men for seeking younger partners, but have no issue dating younger men themselves, often claiming it's about empowerment or just having fun. By shifting the focus away from their behavior, they create a narrative where men are always wrong, while women are just exploring their options. This double standard lets them do the same things they condemn in men without facing the same criticism. They want the freedom to date younger men without judgment, but they don't extend that same understanding to men. It's a way to avoid accountability while still enjoying the benefits they criticize others for seeking.
Did you know that women find 80% of men as unattractive?
I didn't know that.
So have you ever heard the girl say like medium ugly? Like, oh, I gave him a chance. He was medium ugly.
I say cute ugly.
Yeah. It's like, no sis, that was just your level. Because women find 80% of men as unattractive. And the question is, if you find a guy attractive, he's probably the top 20% of men. Are you top 20% of women? And that's what we have nowadays. And you can get this data from dating apps because women only swipe right between 5 and like 20% of the time. And if you ask 100% of women what they want in a man, they list 20% of men. That's where you have eternal like side chicks, basically.
Everyone wants the same guy.
Yes, everyone
wants the same guy. And that's the problem.
Well, and I always say this too, like even as a Christian woman, and Julie's a Christian woman, we still, as Christian women, do not tend to be attracted to the men who are virgins, because the men who are virgins tend to be involuntarily virgins, right? So we still, and the reason is because we look at men who are sexually successful with other women and we see that they have value because other women want
It's like, oh, there must be something there.
Right.
Larger proportion of women that have, for example, 30, 40, 50 body counts. These aren't exact numbers, but just to articulate a point. And then you'll have a huge subset of men that have zero access or minimal access to hookup culture. Typically, these men are not going to be able to get sex outside of perhaps the very rare occasional hookup, or it's going to have to be through a relationship. But almost any woman, if she was so inclined, could be a slut. Any woman could be a slut. Not every man can be a slut.
Okay.
And so if it's, say, 50% of women that are engaging in this promiscuity and it's 10% of men that are enabling it, wouldn't the blame be on the larger cohort of people that is sort of perpetuating this?
Okay. Sure.
Okay, checkmate, cool.
It's okay to want what you want, but the problem arises when there's a delusional expectation that every woman qualifies to get the same guy thereafter. The reality is that not everyone will meet the standards of the top-tier men they desire. It's unrealistic to think that just because you want something, you're automatically entitled to it. Instead of focusing on what they bring to the table, some women believe they deserve the best without putting in the effort or self-reflection needed to actually attract those men. The truth is, not everyone is going to be a match for the top 20% of men. They can believe it all they want, but reality will bring them back to their senses.
So I was scrolling through the internet and then found another idiotic thing that a guy said publicly.
Now this is Shannon Harris. She goes as ShanXO on YouTube. And this guy said, this is why our first date is running a mile around the track to see if you sweat the makeup off. Are you absolutely joking me? First off, she looks absolutely beautiful without makeup. And she looks beautiful with makeup. She looks beautiful both ways. I have absolutely no idea why this guy is acting like she's catfishing him. And it's also just rude, like, oh, run a mile, see if you sweat the makeup off. Like, dudes, you don't have to wear makeup. You don't have society pressuring you to look a certain way, so you should just leave us alone. If we want to wear makeup, let us wear makeup. If we don't want to wear it, let us not wear it. And I'm sorry, but isn't this what guys complain about all the time? They don't like girls that wear a lot of makeup, like the top picture. But he's complaining that she doesn't look like the top picture naturally. We shouldn't get blasted online because we want to dress up and wear makeup sometimes. So guys, stop makeup shaming us and judging us and just leave us alone.
Well, I think this is a pretty good exercise. For these men who are going on these dates, it might actually solve the catfish problem.
Listening to a podcast the other day, and they said that 80% of women are looking for a man that's over 6 feet tall, but only 15% of men actually are. So I learned that I am 100% delusional. Thank you.